All right. This is Shooting the Breeze with your man, Barry Lloyd. Tonight, my special guest, my homie from the Rock, from the Bluff City, Bart Shankles. What's going on, Bart?
Hey, what's up, Byron? How you doing?
Chilling, man. I'm hoping that, look, I'm not using high-tech equipment tonight. I got a cell phone close to this laptop mic, and I hope it picks you up good enough, man. But anyway, let me get into it real quick. Me and Bart are members of this, I don't know if you call it secret or closet Facebook group. And I'm not going to say the name because it is a secret society. And but last night I had made the post yesterday afternoon about I was going to do some shots. You Jesus, what did I say? I forget, boy. I said you Bible thumping Jesus freaks. And one girl in particular, we're not going to call no names. I'm sure she'll listen to this and she'll know who she is. She said that was the last straw. She's tired of all this intolerance of Christians, which I think is hilarious because the only intolerance I really see is coming from Christians 90% of the time. They're intolerant about gays, intolerant about other religions. They're just intolerant assholes pretty regular, you know what I mean? And I don't want to generalize everybody, Bart, but from your experience, don't you sense a lot of intolerance from the Christians?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you can just see, look at Ken Davis. And,
right. Well, you know, man, we got this local county judge around here, man, who's a fucking poon. I forgot to put the kids to bed because I do use grown-up language on here. This is a free speech zone. But, and this dude said he's not marrying people no more because he refused to marry gay people. And it basically comes down to, in my opinion, it's easy math. If you can't do all your fucking job requirements, you should resign. You know what I mean? But of course, go ahead. Well, of course.
You're elected official, and there's no question about that.
Right. It's your goddamn job. You should do it. Oops, I'm sorry for my Christian friends. I didn't mean to use the Lord's name in vain. How about I'll say Baphomet them? And I made a joke about Baphomet last night. No girl went nuts on that. That was out of line. And I mentioned Muhammad, but it just tickled me because even if I was a devil worshiper and I wanted to choose to worship Baphomet, she should respect my Baphometed religion or my worship of the Lord of Darkness or the Lord of Flies as much as I respect her worshiping socialist hippie from the Bronze Age. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm sure you don't have a Baphomet is.
Right. Well, it's just funny, man, because, you know, Fox News. Oh, shit, I just hung up on you. Let me call Bart back. Anyway, I just hung up on my man Bart. By accident. But anyway, it's just funny because, oh, hey man, that was my bad. Oh shit, we got his voicemail. That's the great thing about live radio, or live anything, man. When you fuck up, there's no taking it back, and I just fucked up. Actually hung up on my man. Let's try one more time. But anyway, I got some things we want to read about, and we're going to show what the FBI results are about Christian intolerance. You know what I mean? Hey, man. Well, somehow we lost Bart. I don't know what happened to Bart. Bart, if you're listening to me, call me back, dude. You got my number. But anyway, we lost Bart. But anyway, back to what I was saying. Gotta love that. Finally get my guest on. Bart's been waiting to come on for a while. I'll fuck it up. But hopefully Bart will call back. Like I said, but I want to go into some FBI facts on this Christian intolerance and this myth that the fundamentalist Christians, especially on the right, have been perpetrating about there's some type of war on Christianity. And I believe the intolerance is coming more from Christians than it ever comes from agnostics or atheists. And, you know, just for full disclosure, I want to let everybody know that I am an agnostic. You know what I mean? And but we'll just check out the war on Christianity. Here we go. My bad, buddy. I hung up on you there. Like I said, it was my bad, man. That's the great thing about live radio. When you fuck up, dude, there's no taking it back. You know what I mean? But no, I'm just. Oh, well, you didn't miss nothing. I was just talking about. We're going to get into me and Bart we've done a little research today, and I was just saying that from my experience, and the question I was asking you is, from my experience, especially over the past millennia, a couple thousand years, the intolerance comes we get a lot more tolerance from Christians than you get people that are intolerant of Christians. Wouldn't you agree?
Well, yeah, I mean, because the people that are intolerant of Christians have to be in the shadows.
Right. And you know,
I run a business, and I have to steer clear of anything as far as religious-wise. I have to long to go along.
Right. And you know, I'm in the same position. I've been down on my hip, so I haven't been able to work past a couple of months because I probably just have to have surgery. But you know, I run my own business, and I'm in a small, rural Arkansas town where it's full of fundamentalist right-wing fucking nuts. And I got to bite my tongue a lot of times when I hear them spew ignorance. Because, just in a nutshell, and I'm not knocking religion, but let's just look at Christianity real quick. First of all, as you know, there was religions before Christianity. And Christianity seems to have taken a lot of things from different religions that were in the Mesopotamia area, and they pretty much incorporated that into Christianity. The fact that, you know, like there's a guy called Osiris who come from a virgin birth, whose birthday's on the 25th, who died when he was 33, and, you know, he existed before Jesus. You know what I'm saying? Right?
You know, and one thing, they claim they're the first monotheist. Actually, Zoroastrianism was actually the first monotheist.
Right.
Like 2,000 or 3,000 years before Moses. Well, I can't say Moses because he didn't ever exist. He was another amalgamism of many characters past.
Right. That's all he is. He's, like you said, he's just a composite of several other religious deities that existed before he did. And you know, it's just like most people don't know. The Bible itself was passed on word of mouth for 40 years before it was ever written down. And then it was Mark. People don't realize this. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. They didn't even write the books with their names on them. Most of the fucking New Testament was written 40 years after Jesus' death and their deaths. You know what I mean? And people don't know that. People actually think Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John wrote that like they were eyewitnesses of Jesus. And we don't know that. You know, people don't understand that historically they can't even prove that Jesus actually existed. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, exactly. Jesus, on him, it's possible he did, but it was possible he was just he was preaching a lot of the same things that were being preached at that time.
Right.
Around there.
And you know, a lot of people don't realize.
It's not even a big deal, but like his deity status is definitely something that's never been proved.
Right. And you know, I'm not trying to knock Christianity. I'm just telling you the actual historical facts of it. You know what I mean? But there's nothing factual in the Bible. I hate to break it to you, my Christian friends. None of the prophecies in the Bible have ever come true. And if there were any prophecies that were written about that have come true in the Bible, they were written after it happened. You know what I mean? So.
Exactly. Look at Moses and the Exodus. The Exodus never happened.
Right.
There's no archaeological evidence of it, and there's been some high-end archaeologists from Israel that have been searching for the past 20 years deeply, and they say that if there's an Exodus, there may have been about 30,000 people.
Right.
At least like 600 or 700,000.
Right.
They would have left a lot of shit behind.
Exactly. And well, that's just like when you get into people take the Bible literal. You get into stories like Jonah in the well. We know that nobody can live in a whale's belly for 3 days. You know what I mean? You know they'd be whale turds. Right. Jonah would be a whale turd. You know what I mean? You know. Right. And basically, yeah, it's the same story, except he wasn't a wooden boy. He was some dumbass named Jonah. And that's just like Noah's Ark. We know that the Great Flood never happened. We have scientific proof of it. We know that. Right.
There are a lot of local
poke holes in the Bible, which is easy because the Bible's full of holes. The story's full of holes.
Let's get back to the Christianity of America.
Right, I'm with you on that because we can sit here and poke holes in the Bible all day long. It's pretty fucking easy. But nowadays, Fox News and right-wing media have started this fucking war on Christianity, which is hilarious because the Christians are always being persecuted, like we say, when somebody stands up. But if you look at Congress or any elected official, there's no atheist elected into anything. You cannot be an atheist or agnostic and get elected into public office. And that's just...
Well, I was just reading today where there's still 7 states, of which we're one, that actually in the book, that atheists cannot be elected.
Right. And you know...
It's not constitutional, but it's still on the book.
Right. And you know, that goes back to also the myth that the founding fathers based this country on Judeo-Christian, Judeo beliefs, and that's not true. The Treaty of Tripoli, which is ratified into law in 1797, expressly says this country was not founded on the Christian religion, it was founded on the freedom of all religion. And that's something Christians can't get past. And most forefathers were anti-theist or atheist. You know what I mean?
I actually just looked at that today where the first 5 presidents, none of them were publicly Christian. You got like Adam, who was at least nonconformist.
Right.
He was pretty hot on the religion. Jefferson, of course, he was a deist.
Right.
He was constantly an atheist, but back to all the time. And even now, you gotta come out and say you're atheist, and I think you're dead. Now you're just shunned.
Right. Right. And people don't realize, and this is what tickles me. Because I was raised in a church. I got an uncle who's got a PhD in theology. I had 2 uncles that were preachers. My mother went to Harvard University. And I searched and tried every religion, and I never saw Jesus. I've never seen evidence or had any spiritual moving. None of that bullshit. Been baptized twice. And the fact that when you get older and you sit...
You're baptized twice?
Yeah. The first one didn't take, man. I'm evil. You didn't know that? But when you get back to the fact that, like I said, when they force this religion on you, and if you don't take it, or you rebuff it, or you tell them that you're into science, they call you a dumbass. And I'm not a dumbass. I just like evidence. And there's a few gaps in science, but science so far has figured out most of the big picture, and they actually have evidence to prove it. And that's like the theory of evolution. Creationism is total horseshit. Theory of evolution is not only a theory, it's a fact. It can be a theory and a fact at the same time, just like the theory of gravity is a fact. You know what I mean?
You know what they say, that actually there's more proof for evolution than gravity.
Right.
Because they haven't figured out gravity.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. They think it could be dark matter. Right.
That's another thing. They're trying to teach creationism next to evolution, like teach the argument. That is, man, you talking about they want to make America great? Well, that's our big downfall.
Right, it is, and I hate to tell you this, but look, I'm glad that there's a lot of bigger actors and public figures and politicians who are coming out and claiming to be atheist or agnostic. And Neil deGrasse Tyson is, I think, one of the smartest guys in America, and he labels himself as an agnostic because he don't want to be completely closed-minded, huh?
Who is that?
Neil deGrasse Tyson. Dr. Tyson, he's the one that done the Cosmos series, and he's the...
You know what? Yeah, I know. He kind of skirts the issue. He didn't like to be the guy about the label. He kind of...
Right.
Because he knows what that label means.
Right.
People may not listen to it.
Right, it's like being...
No, but he definitely shoots down. Everything he says, he's an atheist, but he just doesn't like the label.
Right.
He's a brilliant dude.
Right. Well, look, this is what tells you. Educated people, 92% of all scientists are atheists or agnostic. Most are atheists. And we would consider scientists, which I do with PhDs, as some of the smartest people on the planet. And when you talk to intelligent people, it's hard for them to buy into invisible guys in the sky. Just like it's hard for me to buy into it. I believed in Santa Claus when I was a kid, but as I grew up, adults told me Santa Claus ain't real. The difference between that and religion is they never stop telling you it's not real. You know what I mean? And,
They dangle the carrot and the stick.
right, and like we were talking before we got on the air, And they got a good hard sell with the eternal lake of fire and the burning and brimstone. But this is what blows my mind. If you were to take the Bible and take the Bible and nobody knew about it, it wasn't tied to any kind of religious order, and you just hand it to somebody nowadays and they read it, they would think it was the most violent and pornographic book they've ever read. It's filled with rape and slavery and murder and incest. You know what I mean? It's a heinous book. You know what I'm saying?
I know, and it's funny, but they like the little good parts of it, but the bad parts,
right. Oh, they cherry pick the shit out of it, don't they?
Exactly. But hey, no, you know, you're taking it out of context.
Right. And we're always taking it out of context. But like I said, and this perceived war of Christianity is a joke because there's 2 churches for every school in America, and I think that's a travesty in itself. You know what I mean? And the fact that they don't pay taxes.
How can the majority be persecuted?
Right. Right. But they've been playing that persecution role. Right. It is impossible. And like you said, it's we can go and I can look up links to prove this. Atheists are the ones that are shunned in this country, or people who are Muslim, or people who are not Christian. They always come down on those folks. And I was trying to study up, and last night, man, I was looking at the pros and cons of religion. And religion has killed more people on this planet than anything else. You know what I mean? There's been more murder, more war over religion than anything. And I believe organized religion does more bad than good in this world. You know what I mean?
Well, for sure. You're looking at the guy that's talking to the only thing that can make the good person do bad is religion.
That's right. It's the truth. It's the truth, and that's why they've been fighting in the Middle East for thousands of years. And most people don't know there's the Sunni and Shia sects of Islam, and they hate each other, and they're the same fucking religion, man. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So
that's what's insane. It's like there's 30,000 sects of Christianity, and I mean no one agrees on anything.
But they're all getting it from the same book. That's what, and that's in lies the institutionalized evil of it, because they're listening to some man's translation of the book. You know what I mean? And we know that religion. I believe religion was created, organized religion was created to control and scare people into being obedient.
Well, yeah, exactly. And it's the fear of death.
Right.
What happens afterwards.
Right.
So just be good or you're going to burn.
Right, and I believe that falls back into humans have this character flaw of we always think that the grass is always greener, there's always something better. So it's easy for them to be sold on this because their life sucks here, so there's got to be something better. So they sell them on this pie in the sky dream that there's some magical kingdom in the sky. But the fact that we've shot every type of rocket and space shuttle and, you know what I mean? And we've never seen anything to...
That's not second heaven.
Right. That's that heaven in the 4th dimension we can't get to, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Looking at back to the American Christianity, going to go into like what really irks me is when they get into politics and Jerry Falwell's moral majority.
Right.
Of our downfall.
Right, they are, because look, they've injected themselves so much into religion it started around right after Reagan. They're the ones that really got Reagan elected, and they're really the ones who've gotten most Republicans since Reagan elected for president. And what blows my mind is that they entirely want to keep injecting religion into the government. And even though there's a separation of church and state that's been defined by the forefathers, defined in the Constitution over and over, it seems like instead of getting further and further away from it and having a bigger gap between church and state, it's getting smaller and smaller. The gap's being closed because anytime a Republican gets a chance, he's going to beat the Bible and try to force religion to anything. Kim Davis being the latest example in Kentucky, you know what I mean? She's trying to force her religious views into her government job, which she should resign. If she can't do her job, she should hit the fucking bricks, man.
Exactly. And I think Huckabee was her big supporter. He was a popular away from church a few times. But he was, he got asked a question about what if a Muslim had some, I forget what kind of rejection. But of course he started
see them pander because it's like who loves Jesus the most. You know what I mean? When it comes to Republicans, they put on a show. Donald Trump ain't been to church or prayed in fucking 20 years. But you ask Don, he'll tell you, me and Jesus are classy. We're huge, man. We're buddies. We're winners.
It's funny when they're asking about like the favorite verse in the Bible. He's like private.
Right, it's private. I thought he was going to say all of them.
You know what? That's actually what we would really love to have everyone say.
Right.
But you know what? It's private. And so you know what? Y'all keep it private. And keep it out of our government. Keep it out of our
Right. It should be private. It should be your own personal shit. And see, that's what blows my mind is that, like I said, this all started from a remark yesterday that a girl made in this liberal private group me and Barry are members of. And it tripped me out because I was just being silly. Everybody knew I was being silly but this chick. And she said it was the last straw, and I didn't say anything derogatory. I said Bible thumping Jesus freaks. I could have just said fucking morons who believe in invisible dudes in the sky. I could have said that, you know what I mean? But I didn't, man. I tried to be respectful of it. And then she became a bully and started bullying me about it. And then trying to get people to rally to her fucking defense, you know what I mean? But I believe in free speech. If I want to say Jesus can lick these nuts, I should be able to say Jesus can lick these nuts. And you should be thicker skinned. I thought she's being awful thin skinned. You know what I mean? I don't bitch when they post up their little fucking inspirational Jesus quotes on timelines. But if anybody puts anything that's not pro-Christian on there, all of a sudden they're being persecuted. And it's over 70% of Americans identify as Christian. By far they're the majority. By far they're in control. And they're passive aggressive with their bullying. You know what I mean? They'll be screaming they're persecuted the whole time when they're passively aggressively bullying your ass and beating you over the head with the Bible. You know what I'm saying?
You know what, exactly. And like I said, it's a lot of these real liberal Christians that actually get the other ones covered. Because if you're actually, you know what, I kind of respect Westboro Baptist Church more than some of these liberal Christians because if you're going to believe in it,
you should be balls out fanatic.
Drop the doctrine. If you're going to share anything, just get rid of it. Everyone has reason enough to know what's right and wrong.
Right.
You know? So,
you don't need religion for that.
You're going to do it. Be assholes like Westboro Baptist Church.
Right.
That's what the Bible says.
And people want to say that you've got to have religion to have morality, and that's horseshit. Name me one time you've heard a group of atheists commit genocide. You know what I mean? Or start a war. A bunch of non-believers starting wars over their non-beliefs. It's never going to happen. You know what I mean? But if you speak up for it, you get persecuted. And if you try to fucking stand up for yourself, all of a sudden you're persecuting Christians. You hate Jesus. You know what I mean? And that's what gets me. I believe this shit's a myth. You know what I mean? I try to look at it from both sides. And what I've read, and I'm going to come back tomorrow because I got to go to bed early because I got a surprise visit for my son. But I'm going to come back and do 30 minutes tomorrow. And you're willing to join me again tomorrow. Because we're down to the last 10 minutes, but you want to join me again tomorrow where I do a little bit more research. But I got some FBI statistics that will prove how Christians are way more intolerant than atheists and non-believers or even Muslims in this country. This is something else people don't realize. There's been more people killed by terrorist acts in this country from fundamentalist Christians than Muslims. You know what I mean?
And it's way more. I mean,
way more, right.
You never hear about the people that are born that have been on the abortion clinics.
Right. And like I said, what's funny to me is that guy that's supposed to be omnipotent, which means he knows everything that's going to happen in the future. Well, if he was so fucked up about abortion, why didn't he put that in the Bible? Since he knows it's coming. You know what I mean? Why didn't they say something expressly about gay marriage in the New Testament or homosexuality? Jesus never mentioned that shit. And they're supposed to know what's coming. They're supposed to be omnipotent. That's what blows my mind. And the fact that if you look at the Ten Commandments, half those commandments are about not worshiping another God because God's jealous and he'll fuck you up if you do. Other than murder and stealing, the rest of that shit is about fucking not coveting your neighbor's shit or not kissing another God's ass, basically. There's nothing about rape or child molestation. You know what I mean?
Slavery.
Right, or slavery, right. And just like you know, in the early times in America, all the forefathers were slave owners, and they used the Bible to defend slavery. You know what I mean? And justify slavery. You know what I'm saying? So
You look at Exodus, and then
Right. Well, how about this, real quick? I'll punch one hole in the Bible from the beginning. Okay, well, first of all, it's genetically impossible for Adam and Eve to be everybody's mom and daddy. That's genetically impossible. But they had two sons, Cain and Abel, and they went and got married. But who the fuck did they get married to? Because they were only supposed to be the four motherfuckers in the... Right. And then they send Cain after he kills Abel to the land of Nod. Where the fuck did the land of Nod come from? It was just supposed to... You know what I mean? Right. It's fucking comical from beginning to end. And the reason it's like that is because it's not the word of God. It's the word of some biased Jews back in the day, bastardizing and plagiarizing other religions to scare and control their people. And that's all it is. Oh, it's working like a champ. Billions of people have died over it. Not to mention that, but people forget, when Jesus was 12, he wasn't that nice of a guy. He pushed a kid off a roof of a house just to see if he could bring him back alive. Remember that? That actually happened in the Bible. You know, I will... Oh, yeah. And that's when I love to hear these Christians, and they always want to go back to the Old Testament and say the homosexuality verse in the Old Testament and all this shit. But the New Testament, Jesus says, this is the new covenant of God. You're not supposed to follow the Old Testament no more. So what these Christians don't know is they should completely throw the Old Testament out, because that's what Jesus said. And Jesus never mentioned homosexuality or gay marriage or abortion. And if he's omnipotent, he should have known it was coming. You know what I mean? And like I said, he also said, how you treat the least among you is how you treat me. Take all your money and give it to the poor. You know, you got a better chance of passing a camel through the eye of a needle than a rich man passing through the gates of heaven. He was hardcore. He was a socialist. He was a hardcore socialist. Right. He's a hardcore socialist. Right. 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 But
and then when he got all pissed off when the fig tree didn't have figs, but it was not season, so you're thinking of that. But
right. Well, you know.
I digress on that.
Right. Well, you know, just like this right here, him kicking out the money changers in the temple is because he was anti-corporations, and he was anti-banks, and you know what I mean. And he was anti-wealth, and he was, you know what I mean. Take care of the sick, the poor, and the needy. And these Republicans who beat this Bible do everything Jesus said not to do. They covet wealth. They say fuck the poor, the elderly, the sick, and they support corporations. And like I said, it's like they've reinvented Jesus. And don't get me wrong, Jesus might have been real and might not have been, but I like what he espoused. I like his teachings. You know, he taught peace and love, and to love thy enemy and love thy neighbor, and not to judge people.
I don't know about love thy enemy. That's a little.
Well, you know, that's a little harder than.
It has to be situational.
Exception to the rule. Well, that's what he espoused. I didn't say I espoused that shit.
Oh, no. I know. You know, that stuff is definitely good. But yeah, that kind of passage, they say that a lot, but I don't ever see it.
No, they don't ever practice it, man. And like I said, we're down. Hey, I know people, when they get on the show, they think it takes a long time to eat up 30 minutes. We're down to the last 45 seconds here. It goes fast when we get to talking. But look, we're going to get off here. I'm going to bring Bart back in tomorrow, Sunday. We're going to do part 2 because I need to do the research I would like to do, and I'd like to bring facts. So I'm going to bring the facts on the other end. I got these FBI stats that show us the other way around, that the non-believers are being persecuted more than Christians. And I'm going to prove that, and I'm going to do it with facts. And hopefully some of my liberal friends who love Jesus, and that is fine, as long as you don't beat me over the head with the Bible. I don't care who you believe. You know what I mean? But I'm going to see, I know Republicans hate facts. We're going to try to put facts on them and see what they think. But this is Shooting the Breeze with your man Byron A. Lloyd, my man Bart.
Thanks, brother.
All right, we're going to get out of here and see you tomorrow. Audi 5000, brother.
Well, then, brother.
Hey, dude.